How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Sonic Adventure DX, where what has been seen by E102 Gamma cannot be unseen.
Dr. Robotnik. Enemy. Master registration deleted. E-Series. Friends. Must save.
Let me know if you guys caught all the pictures I stuck in there. I put 4 pictures in there that aren't supposed to be there, but let me know if you caught all of them and tell me what they are in the comments, and I'll see if you got them all. It'd be cool. Apparently now we have to go rescue Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, and Beta somehow. I don't know how exactly we're gonna do that. I mean, most of them were ejected into the ocean, and Beta fell into the ocean with the egg carrier as far as we know, so I don't know how we're gonna manage that one. But I guess we gotta go to Windy Valley, and apparently the Windstone was taken back to Tails' workshop by one of the scientists after Sonic and Tails finished up their business there, so whatever. I like how Gamma says pick up and put down in a robotic voice when he grabs an item. It just adds to the surrealism, you know. Makes it really feel like he's a robot. So anyway, let's head into Windy Valley. Now, for this stage for Gamma, you will be comboing enemies, and when I say comboing, I mean like getting a lot of enemy targets in a single shot. A lot, because there are these enemies, these worm things. You probably might have seen them in Sonic's or Tails' playthrough of this stage, but they are humongous and they have 10 parts to them. So you can get a lot of combos off on them, and in turn that gets you a lot of extra time. So I usually end up with like 5 or 6 minutes left when I'm done with this level. It's pretty ridiculous, and to be honest with you, the A mission is not all that difficult for this one, mostly because I think they give you, like, they say, oh, well, you need to have like 3 minutes left on the clock. Well, when you're firing at all of those enemies there that have like 10 parts to them, it's pretty hard to end up with just 3 minutes left. You end up with a whole lot more most of the time. Like, I mean, look at how much time you rack up just from killing the one enemy if you aim at all 10 of its parts. You get 40 seconds added to your time, so that's pretty ridiculous. So anyway, we head up here, and we found the first of our friends, E103 Delta. Now, if you use your jet booster off of that spring, you can actually get up to that little alcove up there where Delta can't actually damage you because his missiles are down pretty much in a they move in a horizontal pattern. They don't have any vertical distance to them other than the vertical distance they are from the ground right now. Excuse me, I'm pretty tired today because we just did a floor move at work yesterday. But that alcove isn't really all that useful because I don't even know if you could fire at him unless you jump up to hit him. But if you really need help with this boss, I guess you could jump up there. He's pretty easy, regardless of what you do.
E103 Delta, rescue complete.
Kind of weird that apparently in Gamma's vocabulary, rescue means destroy. But and then I also kind of find it odd that Delta would be a parrot. I mean, it's like, yeah, think about it this way. I mean, Delta is kind of like, you know, he's a blue robot, so you would think maybe he'd be like a swallow or something to that effect. I don't know. You know, game developers, that was open before to us, like when, you know, Sonic and Tails and Knuckles were all around there. But in Gamma's game, excuse me again. In Gamma's game, that part was not open to us before, mostly because Gamma actually has glowing red light have anything good to say? No, not really. But in Gamma's game, you weren't allowed to go over here before because Gamma has another stage over in this direction. Well, yeah, somebody's send a message to you. They're like, come on in. The air is great, and I have missiles for you. I mean, if we want to go with like the fact of, oh well, let's just dismiss the fact that this was open for pretty much every other character before this, and for Gamma it wasn't. First off, they probably should have just did what they did in Sonic's story, where they just closed that door there. But you know, if they wanted to go with that fact and we just wanted to dismiss that as okay, fine, that's how it is, then they probably should have made it so that at least in my opinion, it would be that the next robot we have coming up here probably blasted that hole in the mountains there. I was looking for that field emblem over here again. I was looking in the wrong direction. When I was looking over towards the white-capped mountains over there, that's actually the direction of the emblem that I'm looking for, that I was gonna go grab, but I didn't have any ability to do so because I didn't really know exactly where it was. And as Gamma, you can get it. By the way, the Master Emerald is still broken, so Knuckles hasn't been here yet. Probably because he's still on the egg carrier fighting Chaos 6 still. So yeah, you could hover with Gamma to go ahead and get the emblem that's over here, but you would die in the process because you can't get the emblem and reach solid ground again, all in the same hover. So I wouldn't worry about it too much with Gamma. We'll go grab it with somebody who's a little bit better at climbing walls. So, but yes, and now we'll move on to Gamma's 4th stage, Red Mountain. We're just knocking them out real quick in this episode. This is another level where you'll get a lot of comboing for enemies. Not because there are enemies with 10 hit markers on them or anything like that, but because there are a lot of enemies in this level, and it's actually pretty good if you're doing the Chow Garden, because whenever an enemy dies, I haven't really explained this yet, they'll drop an animal, and animals are basically what give your Chow its abilities, because you give a Chow an animal. By the way, Gamma can imitate Sonic here. He can get up on the wall if he goes into tank mode there. But yeah, what happens is you give your Chow an animal, and your Chow will increase its stats accordingly based on what animal you give them. Now, Red Mountain's specific abilities that its animals have, like you'll get gorillas, lions, and elephants mostly, with some parrots and seals thrown in, for good measure every now and again. So, Red Mountain's main focus in its animals is power, the power stat, and in this game, the power stat on your Chow is the most important stat of them all, and you need that to be the highest in order for your Chow to be able to do everything that it needs to do. I'm stating this because I've already beaten the Chow Gardens races myself, and believe you me, it was not easy, but that's probably because I actually messed up a little bit when I was doing the Chow Garden myself, and I'm going to make note of it when I get to that point, to tell you exactly what you don't want to do. So, but yes, because Gamma has so many enemies in this level, he would actually make a pretty good person to be breeding the Chow together and getting their stats all the way up. Breeding the Chow together, oh god. Anyway, but yes, he'd probably make a pretty good Chow breeder because he can get a lot of enemies in this area in a relatively short period of time, and he can get a lot of the power enemies taken care of, well, the power animals taken care of for your Chow, which will leave your Chow pretty well set up for most of the races. He can also get some fly stuff because parrots are pretty good on the fly as well. But honestly, I don't really like Gamma as a Chow breeder because he can't enter water in any way. And believe you me when I say this, Chows like to move into water a lot, and even if they can't really swim. As you can see, I can't hit Epsilon until I actually get into the battle with him. Speaking of which, here's E104 Epsilon. I know I spoiled it like 2 seconds before we got to him, but whatever. You already knew who he was. He was on the egg carrier. I don't even think Eggman stated his name when he was on the egg carrier, but yeah, still trying to drag out the boss fights a little bit, but honestly, Delta and Epsilon are probably just as easy as Beta. They just have a little bit more health, and they're not really honestly all that hard. You know, they'll float around for a little while, they'll missile you and all that stuff. I think Epsilon likes having 2 missiles out at once as opposed to 1, which is what Delta tends to do. Actually got hit there. But he's still pretty easy to do. You just you can actually pretty much just spam the fire button, like lock onto him and fire, and just stand in front of him and kill him. So it's not really that big of a deal. And now Epsilon was a swallow. I would think he'd be a lion, but I guess Eggman was going for the bird motif when he was designing these robots. Kind of what makes you wonder, what would Gamma's bird be? Or Betas or Zetas, but then again, we are going to go rescue Beta and Zeta, so I guess we'll find out what theirs are in not too long.
E103 Delta, E104 Epsilon, rescue mission accomplished. E105 Zeta, E101 Beta, location unknown. Perhaps aboard the egg carrier.
Perhaps, Gamma, perhaps. But yes, this is probably about the time when Knuckles is actually getting off of the ship right here, because you know it's nighttime and everything like that, and the egg carrier explodes and goes down. I'm not really sure how Gamma would expect. Like, I know he wants to, you know, he's like, oh well, maybe they're on the egg carrier. Well, that's great, Gamma, but how do you plan on getting to the egg carrier exactly? I mean, it's kind of like, you know, out in the middle of the ocean, completely wrecked and destroyed.
Go to the egg carrier crash site. You might find something.
Well, basically, I think one of the scientists might tell you how to do this, but basically you have to take a boat, which in this case is just a small raft with an automatic gearbox on the back. But you take one of the boats either in Station Square or in the Mystic Ruins, and you'll go to the egg carrier crash site.
E-Series data. Beginning search. Accessing data. Hot shelter. E-Series location confirmed. Unlocking hot shelter sector now.
I guess one of them's in the hot shelter. That's great. I really do enjoy the ocean egg carrier theme that they have in that scene. I really don't know why they didn't use it as the actual ocean egg carrier theme, like when it's docked in the ocean here. Well, it's not really docked, it's kind of just crashed, but it's floating around in the ocean. So I really don't know why they didn't use it as the theme. It's really kick-ass, and I really enjoy it. But they decided to stick with the regular egg carrier theme, so that's fine, I suppose.
Your friends are in the hot shelter. Hurry up and rescue them.
Friends? You mean Beta and Zeta are in the hot shelter? Well, we could go do that, or we could do more side quests! Well, no, this is actually just a little quick pickup thing that I wanted to grab before we head anywhere here. Because, as you remember from before, Gamma got his jet booster from the arsenal. So now there's also this reservoir, or water tank over here. And I guess this is why the public restrooms are on the ship, because, well, this is where all the wastewater from the public restrooms comes from. It will head into this reservoir, or this water tank. So before, there was wastewater here because the public restrooms are actually working, but now that there are no people on the egg carrier, there's no water in here, and therefore we can grab this.
Here's your laser blaster. Its blast damages enemies in a wide pattern.
I forget if you can try to come in here and grab that earlier, but even if you tried, there is wastewater in here when the egg carrier is still moving, so you can't really come in here anyway because Gamma can't go underwater. So, but what the glowing red light kind of meant by, oh well, you know, it damages enemies in a wide pattern. By the way, we're going to stage 5. Like I said, we're knocking them out real quick this time. Your mission, should you choose to accept it. Wait a minute, you're not Duke Nukem. What the hell's going on here? Well, anyway, now Gamma has to make his way through the hot shelter and destroy the robots. And I almost got blown up there. Hey, look, a skunk. Anyway, yeah, what the glowing red light meant by damages enemies in a wide pattern is that basically now instead of having a yellow laser, you have blue laser fired. You wouldn't get that unless you played Sonic Heroes. But yeah, so now whenever you shoot an enemy, you have a small blue laser instead of a small yellow laser, and when it hits an enemy, it generates a small explosion, which damages enemies next to the enemy as well. So it's got a pretty decent range on it if enemies are cluttered pretty close together, or if there's item boxes cluttered pretty close together. That you might just shoot one of the item boxes and then you'll get the other one as well. So it's a decent upgrade. It doesn't really have too much use, to be honest with you, because most of the time, if you're good enough at this, you can probably just lock onto everything anyway, and it won't really matter. Also, Gamma climbs the ladder just as slowly as Amy does, but it just looks so derpy with Gamma, because it's like, how is he climbing that exactly? He doesn't have a hand on his right arm there, so how is he? I don't know, I thought it looked stupid, but it was pretty funny at the same time, so I left that part in there. I was gonna just jump over to the spring over there, but nah, why not? I guess I won't bother with that. And he also says push when he's pushing on those invisible walls / doors. If you don't want to risk the jump there, which with Gamma it's a little bit more appropriate to risk the jump because he has a jet booster to hover over there, but if you don't want to risk the jump, you can always just shoot the button there. And remember that you can just shoot the button there for a little bit later, because we'll be doing that in just a couple of minutes here. This part's pretty hectic here. It's kind of like there's a lot of enemies to be shooting, and if you're doing the what's it called, the A rank mission in this level, you'll probably want to get pretty good at getting multiple enemies in your target sites at the same time, because you need to have 2 minutes left when you are. Oh, okay. Well, if they're transporting anything, they were transporting cargo. They'd probably be transporting Zeta since he got thrown into the ocean. But yeah, you'll want to get good at comboing enemies because you need 2 minutes left on the clock. And as you can see with my clock, I have less than 2 minutes right now. So you want to get pretty good at it. I actually did the A rank mission myself, and I had like 4 minutes left. So it's not terribly difficult as long as you know what you're doing. But yeah, whatever. So anyway, there's the button over there that we have to shoot, and we have to shoot it because we have to stand over here, and if you try to jump on it and get over here, you probably won't get over here in time, so it's better to just stand there and shoot it. And on we go, onto the bullet train, but I decided to cut Gamma's last level and its ending short because it's got to be split into 2 parts. It was longer than most, and I think it ended up being like a half an hour if I didn't split it up, so I just wanted to make sure that I didn't bombard you guys with a huge episode, so that's going to be all for now. Will Gamma be able to destroy Zeta and Beta? And what inevitable fate will he find out about his destiny? Find out in the next episode of Sonic Adventure DX. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Take care.